All right, over the past few days, NewsX Exam Shield campaign has gained momentum. Today, after deliberations, we presented our first charter, which was the first step, establish a permanent national examination task force India needs, which is going to be a dedicated permanent task force that functions throughout the year, not just after an exam paper leak or major controversy. Step 2, or in fact, the thing that is going to build a multi-agency task force that will bring together expertise from multiple institutions to address both security and academic challenges. Its proposed composition should include state police forces, Central Bureau of Investigation, along with other agencies that can pool in whenever there is perhaps an opportunity to stem down any kind of a controversy. Step 3, empower the task force across states. Every government should authorize a task force to coordinate investigations and take timely action against organized examination rackets. And that's exactly what is needed, because the past delays have definitely fueled the protests that we see at Jantar Mantar as well. Step 4, fast track the construction of new medical colleges. One of the biggest pressures on competitive examination is severe mismatch between the number of aspirants and the infrastructure that is available to them. So if that gets accelerated, a lot of problems will definitely be solved. Step 5, launch a national faculty recruitment drive. Building colleges alone is not enough. Existing institutions and newly established medical colleges must be adequately staffed with qualified faculty. A time-bound recruitment program should also be launched to fill teaching vacancies, improve student-teacher ratios, and ensure that quality is not compromised as medical education expands. Step number 6, set a time-bound target to double medical seats. India should adopt a clear national roadmap to substantially increase the number of medical seats within a defined time frame. A transparent target backed by annual milestones and public progress reports would reduce the intense competition for limited seats while strengthening the country's healthcare workforce for the future. Earlier today, we took note of the suggestions made by educators, teachers and professors. Now we'll be speaking to some students as well. Joining us on the show is Divyansh Bansal, NEET Air 1265, Princey Garg, NEET Air 1723. Well, thank you, Divyansh and Princey, for speaking to us. Divyansh, you know what's happening, right? In Jantar Mantar, what do you think should be done to make NEET as well as the job of the NTA more accountable, as well as more security proof, because the lack of security and the corruption that has happened led to this kind of a paper leak?
See, I believe that corruption is enabled by creating a lot of middlemen in a process. If we want to talk about like how a NEET paper is made and delivered to the students at the end. So first you have like the paper setting committee, the moderating committee, and then you have to transport it across like a lot of people from districts to cities and like towns. And it gives a lot of margin for error, because if you take 100 people, one of them like is almost guaranteed to be corrupt. I shouldn't say like it's almost guaranteed, but it is very possible that they are corrupt. So what we want to do is we want to cut down on the middlemen. So if we like digitalize the process, if we take the paper setter and the exam center and like cut down all the middle transport, we could do that by creating an online process. So they directly send over the papers all to all the exam centers. And that would really decrease like the burden, especially on the administration, and it would decrease the scope of like mismanagement.
What do you think of the students at Jantar Mantar demanding the resignation of the education minister? Do you think that the buck stops with the education minister, or do you think it's a whole department that takes care of this administrative task, which is so huge in our country that one person cannot be held responsible?
Look, this is a very like nuanced question, and honestly, like there's a lot of noise right now, even in the media, on social media. Like you have some sides saying that there are foreign agents involved. You have some sides saying that the government is oppressive, and you can't figure anything out right now. So I'd not like to comment anything, but it's too early. We need to like look and see into the investigations.
Okay. A vague response, Divyansh. Let me also rope in Princey Garg into this conversation. Princey, what do you make of what's going on at this point in time? This is not the first paper leak. There have been paper leaks in the past as well, but this is perhaps the first time we've seen such a reaction.
Yes, and it is a very genuine reaction from the public.
Why do you think the public and the students are reacting this way?
Obviously, because they have been failed continuously and many times by the education system. Like, first of all, in the CBSE board exams, the checking, the OSM system, it failed the students. And then reconducting the exam paper once again, just, shake the entire trust of millions of students.
Princey, what suggestions would you like to give? As somebody who's young, who's got her entire career and life ahead of you, what do you think can change at this point in time so that the future generations and students do not have to go through this nightmare of a paper leak? You know that there were about 14 lakh students on 3rd of May who had prepared for this exam, and when it was redone in June, there were 2,70,000 less students who had changed their mind about this.
Yes, and I think the exam should be conducted digitally to minimize the error and just to make sure that there is no corruption and there is no corrupt way in which this exam is conducted. There is no leaks in the future, and the students don't have to suffer this nightmare once again.
Divyansh, coming back to you,
Yes.
what do you think can be done? What are some of your suggestions that you
Look,
think may
one
be
was the
implemented?
digitalization, which I previously mentioned, but I think one of like the more important things, it applies like to every year in which NEET is done, regardless of whether it is leaked or not. Like we have to think why was there so much distress around the NEET leak? Because it's a single exam which determines your admission into like any medical or dental or veterinary college, which is unfair. I mean, you need to have multiple attempts. Like the variability on one day, it could be anything. You could be sick that day. You might be late for the exam that day. You need to give people multiple chances, and having one exam every year, it is unfair to the students. So, like when I used to do my previous year questions, we used to find that there were questions from, like, for example, the BHU entrance exam, the AMU entrance exam, the JIPMER entrance exams. So, what happened was, like, if a student somehow like messed up their AIMS exam, they still had a shot into getting into BHU, into AMU, into JIPMER, into Manipal. And even when I talk to my engineering friends, like who are looking into going to engineering, they don't have just one pipeline. They can get into to J mains, advanced, VIT, Manipal, and like BitSAC. They have multiple options. In NEET, it's all dependent on one exam. So if your entire career's like trajectory is based on 3 hours, the pressure which can be created is insane. So of course you're gonna have people in distress over one exam. And this time there was clear evidence, not like 2024, where there was still like some people weren't ready to admit that there was a NEET. This time it was clear that it was leaked, and it was leaked at a mass scale even. So it's not like a few people were benefited. So it's created a lot of distress. So we need to have multiple exams as well.
All right. All right. So what you're saying is that digitization, the CBT model, is the answer,
Yes,
right?
along with multiple examinations in a year.
But there used to be multiple examinations in the past. The government stopped that, and one body was created to carry this out. Are you saying that we should go back to that system?
I mean, it is. I don't have too much information about it, but when I like talk to my seniors or like to the people who have gone through that system, or even to my friends who are going through like the same kind of system in engineering, I see it as much more favorable to people who want a second chance. Honestly, you can't base everything on 3 hours, right? So yes, it does seem more favorable.
All right. Divyansh and Princey, thank you so much for joining us. All right.